The stale scent of coffee clung to the air in my small home office in Boise, Idaho, a city I'd grown to love for its quiet charm and the promise of a life well lived. Barnaby, a software developer, was hunched over my keyboard, wrestling with a particularly stubborn piece of code. My wife, Leticia, a vibrant and ambitious marketing executive, was supposed to be at a conference in Denver. Or so I thought. We'd been married for 15 years. 15 years of shared dreams, quiet evenings, and the comfortable rhythm of a life built together. We had met at a book club, bonding over a shared love for classic literature. I always admired her drive, her sharp wit, and the way she could light up a room with her smile. Lately, though, that smile seemed reserved for everyone but me. She had been distant, preoccupied, and her explanations were vague and often contradictory. I attributed it to the pressure of her job, the long hours, the constant travel. I wanted to believe it, needed to believe it. It started subtly with missed calls and hushed conversations. Then came the late nights at the office, the business trips that seemed to stretch longer and longer. I tried to talk to her, but she would brush me off, telling me I was being insecure, that I needed to trust her. I wanted to trust her. God, how I wanted to trust her. One evening, a week before her supposed Denver conference, I was making dinner when her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. It was a text message. I know I shouldn't have, but I picked it up. The message was from someone named Quentin. "Can't wait for Denver. Thinking of all the ways I'm going to make you scream my name." The blood drained from my face. My hands started to shake. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Quentin? Who the hell was Quentin? I scrolled through her recent messages, my heart pounding in my chest. There were dozens of them, each one more explicit than the last. My wife, the woman I had loved and trusted for 15 years, was having an affair. I sank into a chair, the phone slipping from my grasp. The room started to spin. I felt sick, betrayed, utterly and completely broken. I didn't know what to do, what to say, how to even process what I had just discovered. I spent the rest of the evening in a daze, numbly going through the motions of preparing dinner, eating, and cleaning up. Leticia called later that night, her voice bright and cheerful. "Just checking in, honey. Everything okay there?" "Everything's fine," I managed to croak out, my voice trembling. "Just fine." The next few days were a blur. I barely slept, barely ate. I replayed the text messages in my head over and over again, each time feeling a fresh wave of nausea. I couldn't bring myself to confront her. I was afraid of what she would say, afraid of the truth. But I knew I couldn't go on living like this, trapped in a web of lies and deceit. When Leticia left for Denver, I decided to do some digging. Quentin. I needed to know who he was, what he meant to her. I started with her work email, figuring he might be a colleague. I spent hours combing through her inbox, her sent messages, her drafts. I found nothing. He wasn't in her contacts. He wasn't mentioned in any of her emails. It was like he didn't exist. Frustrated, I turned to social media. I searched for Quentin on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Nothing. It was as if he was a ghost, a figment of my imagination. But the text messages were real. The betrayal was real. I knew I wasn't crazy. Then I remembered something. A few months ago, Leticia had mentioned reconnecting with an old friend from college. Someone she hadn't seen in years. A friend named Quintus. Could it be? I searched for Quintus on Facebook, and there he was, Quintus Bartholomew, a handsome, charismatic man with a confident smile. He lived in Denver. I clicked on his profile, my heart pounding in my chest. He was tagged in a photo with Leticia, taken at a bar in Denver. The photo was posted just a few days ago. They were laughing, their faces close together. It was him. Quintus was Quentin. The rage that had been simmering inside me finally boiled over. I felt a white-hot fury, a burning desire for revenge. How could she do this to me? How could she lie to me so easily, so casually? I had given her everything. I had supported her dreams. I had loved her unconditionally. And this is how she repaid me. I spent the next few days plotting my revenge. I considered confronting her, exposing her affair to her colleagues, to her family. But that would be too easy. She deserved more than just embarrassment. She deserved to feel the same pain she had inflicted on me. I knew I couldn't do anything rash, anything that would get me into trouble. I had to be smart, strategic, and above all, patient. I started by gathering evidence. I took screenshots of the text messages, the Facebook photos, everything that proved her affair. I needed to be prepared for anything. When Leticia returned from Denver, she was full of stories about the conference, about the amazing speakers, the networking opportunities. She didn't mention Quintus. She didn't mention anything about seeing an old friend. She acted like nothing had happened. I played along, pretending to believe her lies. I smiled, I nodded, I made small talk. But inside I was seething. I knew I couldn't keep up the charade forever. I needed to act, and soon. One evening, a few weeks after her return, Leticia was working late at the office. I decided to pay her a visit. I knew she wouldn't be expecting me. I wanted to catch her off guard. I drove to her office building, parked across the street, and waited. I watched as the lights in her office flickered on and off, as shadows moved behind the blinds. I waited for what felt like an eternity. Finally, around 10 p.m., I saw her leave the building. She was walking with a man I recognized instantly, Quintus. They were holding hands, laughing, their faces close together. They didn't see me. They were too engrossed in each other. I watched as they walked to a nearby bar, went inside, and sat down at a table. I waited a few minutes, then I followed them. I walked into the bar, my heart pounding in my chest. I scanned the room, and there they were, sitting in a corner booth, their hands intertwined. I walked over to their table, my face a mask of fury. Leticia looked up, her eyes widening in surprise. "Barnaby, what are you doing here?" "I think you know what I'm doing here," I said, my voice cold and hard. "I know about you and Quintus. I know about your little trip to Denver. I know everything." Leticia's face turned white. She looked at Quintus, then back at me. "Barnaby, please, let's talk about this somewhere else." "There's nothing to talk about," I said. "I'm done. I'm filing for divorce." I turned and walked out of the bar, leaving Leticia and Quintus speechless. I didn't look back. I didn't care. I was finally free. The divorce was messy, acrimonious, and emotionally draining. Leticia tried to deny the affair, tried to paint me as the bad guy, but I had the evidence. I had the text messages, the photos, everything I needed to prove her infidelity. In the end, she had no choice but to admit the truth. The judge ruled in my favor, granting me a generous settlement and full custody of our dog, Winston, a scruffy terrier we had adopted from a local shelter. Winston had always been my loyal companion, my confidant, my furry little friend. He was the only good thing to come out of my marriage to Leticia. As I began to rebuild my life, I focused on my work, my friends, and my hobbies. I started hiking in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, finding solace in the beauty of nature. I reconnected with old friends, spending weekends camping, fishing, and telling stories around the campfire. One day, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I hesitated for a moment, then I answered it. "Hello, Barnaby, it's Leticia." Her voice was weak, trembling. I need your help." I was taken aback. "My help? After everything you've done, you expect me to help you? I know I don't deserve it," she said, her voice cracking with emotion. "But I have nowhere else to turn. Quintus, he left me. He cleaned out our bank account and disappeared. I'm broke, I'm alone, and I don't know what to do." I was silent for a moment, trying to process what she was saying. Quintus had left her. He had stolen all her money. Was this karma? Was this the justice I had been seeking? I don't know what to say, Leticia," I said finally. "I'm sorry for what happened to you, but I can't help you. I need to move on with my life. Please, Barnaby," she begged. "I'm desperate. I have nowhere to go, no one to turn to." I thought about it for a moment. I thought about all the pain she had caused me, all the lies she had told me, all the ways she had betrayed me. But I also thought about the woman I had once loved, the woman who had shared my dreams, my hopes, my life. And I couldn't bring myself to abandon her completely. "Okay, Leticia," I said finally. "I'll help you, but only because I don't want to see you on the streets. I'll give you some money to get back on your feet, but that's it. After that, you're on your own." I met her the next day at a coffee shop. She looked terrible, haggard, pale, and defeated. She was a shadow of the woman I had once known. I gave her a check enough to cover her rent and expenses for a few months. She thanked me, her eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what to say, Barnaby," she said. "Thank you, I don't deserve this." "No, you don't," I said. "But I hope you use this opportunity to turn your life around, to become a better person." I left her at the coffee shop and walked away. I didn't look back. I knew I had done the right thing. I had shown her compassion, even after everything she had done to me. And in doing so, I had finally freed myself from the bitterness and resentment that had been consuming me for so long. I never saw Leticia again. I heard through mutual friends that she had moved to another state, found a new job, and was trying to rebuild her life. I hope she succeeds. I hope she finds happiness. But most of all, I hope she learns from her mistakes. I hope she never forgets the pain she caused me, the pain she caused herself. As for me, I'm doing well. I'm happy. I've found love again with a woman named Willow, a kind, compassionate, and intelligent artist who appreciates me for who I am. We share a love for art, music, and the outdoors. We spend our weekends exploring the mountains, painting landscapes, and listening to jazz. She is everything Leticia was not. She is honest, loyal, and true. I've learned a lot from my experience with Leticia. I've learned that trust is precious, that honesty is essential, and that forgiveness is possible. But most of all, I've learned that I deserve to be happy, and I won't settle for anything less. So, reader, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, know that you're not alone. Betrayal is a painful experience, but it doesn't have to define you. You can survive it, you can heal, and you can find happiness again. Just remember to stay true to yourself, to never compromise your values, and to always believe in the power of love. You deserve it.